Hi, my name is Justin Shanty with the JDR J-Star KTM team, mechanic for the number 105 Matt Moss. This is a TransWorld Motocross how-to presented by Lucas Oil. Today I'm going to show you how to properly back bleed your hydraulic clutch on the KTM. A lot of air tends to get stuck in the master cylinder here, so let's try that. Start by just a screwdriver. Just going to loosen the cap here. Take the cap bolts out. Just get a clean towel, set it down where you're working. Keep everything clean. Make sure the bike's clean too. You don't want anything falling in the cap after you open it. You want everything to stay pretty clean. Remove the cap. And then I actually like to remove the slave cylinder from the engine. It's not really, it's just kind of something I like to do. So, and then just kind of twist the cover here up. But when we go to put it back on, I'll show you how to check the bolt back here to make sure it hasn't come loose. So then you're going to continue to take the slave cover off. Kind of loosen the bottom one and then the top one because it's going to try to push its way out. It's got some pressure behind it. Also, there's a really thin paper gasket behind here. Make sure you don't rip or tear that. Once you get the slave cylinder off of the engine, it comes off there pretty easy. It is directional, so it's just gonna line up with the bolt holes when you go to put it back on. Set it over by our cap. Now we're ready to back bleed it. All you wanna do is underneath here, you've got the piston that pushes the clutch arm here. You're gonna come up top here and just push in on the piston here to see if you get any air coming out of your master cylinder. It's got a spring behind it, so it's automatically going to push itself back out. So you're going to tilt your bars a little bit because these master cylinders don't hold a lot of fluid. They're pretty shallow. So tilt your bars towards the hole that it's going to pump through, so that way it doesn't draw any air in there. Just going to do that a few times. See if you get any air coming out of there. I'm getting a few bubbles here. This bike's pretty new, but it's pretty hard to get the air trap from out of there just by regularly bleeding it. So once it's already bled up, you can perform this. I'm actually going to throw a little bit of fluid in it. It seems to be a little bit lower now, so we'll top that off. It doesn't hold that much, so it overflows pretty easily. So let's fill it up to about right there. And then we're going to replace the slave cover. Here, put your gasket on here. You're just going to slip it on there like that. It goes in there pretty easy. You don't want to force it in there. You should feel the pressure come back to you. If you try to force it in, it'll rip the rubber that sits in there, and you don't want that. So keep some pressure on it. Grab your two 8mm bolts, the short ones. Just remember where they went. One 8mm goes on the left here, and one goes in the bottom. Grab your T-handle. You want to not tighten all the way, but make it to where the slave cylinder isn't going to come back out once you release the pressure of your hand. Kind of snug those down just a bit. Then you can pull your chain guide back down and line it up with the hole. And make sure it gets through the slave cylinder. That's why we left those loose, so it can move just a bit. Tighten it down. And again, there's torque specs in the manual for these. Refer to that. See, now that I'm tightening these, it's pushing the piston in, so it is going to allow some fluid to come back through there. So just take a towel and we'll wipe that up here in a minute. Now that we've got those tightened down, just want to grab a 10mm and from the other side of the bike, go in right underneath the pipe, and there'll be a 10. Just going to make sure that's tight, because when you slide that up, it can sometimes loosen up. You don't want that to come off. It's your chain guide to keep it from rubbing on here. So now we're going to take our towel and our cap and screws up to the top here. make sure everything's nice and clean. And this back bleeding can be performed after you get the clutch bled up. Just hold the towel over it because it's going to squeeze some fluid out. Replace the screws on top of the cap. They're both the same length, so either or hold, it doesn't matter. Hold your cap to make sure it doesn't get off center. Place your other screw. And now the fluid's going to try to squish out the side. So just tighten those down. Now this is aluminum to aluminum you're tightening to, so it doesn't have to be super tight. You'll feel it pretty much stop. So just snug them up just after that, and then you're good to go there. Clean up any excess fluid because usually the brake fluid likes to eat away some paint. So just as a precaution, clean that all up. Sometimes if you'd like, use some brake cleaner. It works pretty well. Even a bottle of water is good too because the brake fluid attracts to the water. And that's been a TransWorld Motocross how-to presented by Lucas Oil on back bleeding your KTM hydraulic clutch. I hope this helps. Thank you.